And welcome to Hero Power. This is episode 99.
Uh-oh.
We're getting close, boys. I don't
Almost
know.
there.
And at this point, I don't know what number 100 holds. But as always, I am your host, Avantes, and I am joined, as always, by my co hosts, Zeroshio
What is up, gang?
and Versika.
So you're going to have to carry the show tonight. Zerosha and I both had really hard weeks. So you're just going to have to just suck it up and wear it out.
I had a hard weekend. Does that count?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, but I did hit the Discord and ask if anyone had heard from you to make sure you hadn't hung yourself for anything.
I was gonna say, were your weeks bad enough to make Reddit?
No, they were not.
So anyway, we've got a great show lined up for you guys. No emails or iTunes reviews this week, so get out there. If you've got a question for us, shoot us an email at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. If you like the show, leave us an iTunes review on over there at iTunes. We'll be happy to read it on the show. If you don't like the show, still leave us an iTunes review. We want to know. We want to know what you don't like about it.
And to kind of elaborate on that, next week is our 100th episode. So we would love to hear from our wonderful community, our patrons, our listeners, anybody who listens to the show. Feel free to write into us. Give us some of your ladder experiences, your thoughts about Hearthstone, anything that maybe we have done or said that's helped you out during our 100.
Tell us your favorite
last
moment
99.
from the last 100 episodes. Yeah.
And yeah, please pile it on these guys. I've had enough to pile it on. I would be perfectly happy if no emails on episode 100 had my name anywhere close to it.
So, if
I've had enough.
if you want to razz Versika and give him a hard time, please write us in by I'd say Monday of next week, and we will gladly include it in our 100th episode. Video clips would be even great. Video or audio clips would be awesome.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. Seriously. Anything.
Friends like you. Right?
You know, if you've got a moment playing against Zeroshio, if you ever ran into Avantes in an airport, Versika in an airport, we want to know about it. Send those in. Video clips, audio clips.
You're the world traveler of late.
Oh, God, I know, and I hate airports, man. God bless.
I would love to hear some Avantes and airport stories.
Speaking of Avantes at
airports, that
airports,
guy sitting over there charging his phone. that's as exciting as it gets.
Well, you do have a droid.
Yeah, that was nice. Speaking of Avantes and airports, that brings us right into our first news topic. HCT America's Summer Playoffs was this weekend. Since you hosted one of the venues, before we get into too much about the results, tell us a little bit about your weekend, Avantes.
All right. So, as some of you know, I had the privilege to help participate and be an innkeeper for the HCT America's Summer Playoffs. I got to go to Haverhill, Massachusetts. It's about 40 miles, 40 minutes-ish north of Boston. And it was interesting. The venue was very nice. The bar was great. The owners were super nice, great to work with. Went in Friday night, set everything up. Played some Hearthstone while I was there, hung out. Saturday,
that feeling that you feel is coming.
Yeah. So Saturday morning, we get to the venue. When I say we, there was. Oh, let me back up just a little bit because I want to throw a huge shout out to my fellow innkeeper Tim from Evo Gaming, and we were supposed to have 2 innkeepers, 2 admins on site. One of our admins didn't show. didn't sign the contract, didn't show. So we were already down one person. We were supposed to have 4 people on site. We only had 3. Our admin on site, Alec Dawson from the Golden Wisp, was awesome. He was on the ball, on top of it all weekend, and did a fantastic job. So we start the weekend down one person. We get there on Saturday morning. We get set up. We start checking players in. Tournament is supposed to start at 11. At 10:30, we start getting reports of players disconnecting from Hearthstone. So we start to kind of go into tech troubleshooting mode. All right, what's causing it? We check the modem. We restart the cable modem. We restart the routers.
Have you turned it on and off again? You went through that.
We went through that. First things first. Golden rule of IT work. Turn it off, turn it back on again. Still had the same issues. So at this point, Tim says, I'm going to run to Staples. It's about 10 miles down the road. I'm just going to buy a switch and a bunch of Cat 5 cables, and we'll just hardline everybody. Cool. So he leaves, goes, spends about $200 on switch and cables, comes back, we hook it all up, we start running cables to players, still getting disconnects. So we start the first round, players play, there's a couple of DCs, most notably Racy loses his match because he missed his entire mulligan phase due to a disconnect and loses round 1. We move on. We're continuing to try to troubleshoot throughout the day. The owners are on the phone with Comcast multiple times throughout the day, doing everything in their power to try to resolve it. And we just don't get any help at all. Comcast tells us that the earliest they can be out there is 9 a.m. Sunday morning. And so round 2 starts. We have fewer disconnects. We only have like 2 or 3 this round. And we move on. Round 3, we have a couple of disconnects. Round 4, we get a few more disconnects than we have in the past couple of rounds. It was just not good.
Wow.
Then during... So that was pretty much our day. By the end of the day, Saturday, we were just wiped out from fighting technical issues. Sunday, we get up and come into the venue, and Comcast doesn't show up by 9. They don't show up by 9:15.
There's a shocker.
They don't show up by 9:30. So the owners, again, call Comcast, get them on the phone. The rep with Comcast says, "Oh, I see where we have you. We have an appointment for you set up between 1 and 4 today." We're like, tournament starts in 30 minutes. What are we going to do? So we then end up getting. We asked Comcast to do a hard reset on their end. They reboot the modem and don't turn off. After the reboot, they don't turn off the firewall, and we have no internet at all. 15 minutes prior to start of the tournament. So we get on the phone with Blizzard support. They're scrambling, trying to find us an alternate venue, which great job on them being able to do this on the fly. But they find a small land center about 7 to 8 miles north in the town of North Andover. So me and Tim and Alec start breaking down all the equipment as fast as possible. We get everything broke down, bagged up, loaded up into Tim's car. We load Amnesiac and Ike into Tim's car, and he transports them up to the land center. Now, this is, when I say a small land center, I mean it's small. They had like 10 computers in the entire building. That was all they really had room for. So, luckily, even if we had gone there Saturday, there would not have been enough room for all 18 players. So, we get Tim and Alec go. I stay at the bar because we had fireside gathering, local players walking in wanting to play. So they get the broadcast set up done at the new venue. They get Ike on stream in time for his match Sunday, where he lost, I think, to Empanizado. And then
Good job. Nice pronunciation.
yeah, unlike Sottle, who was calling him Empanizito all weekend. But so it was just a huge fight all weekend. But we survived it. We got through it. Boyd brings up a point in chat that says Lucker's disconnect hurt his heart. But I think that was actually a good thing. I hated it for him, but I think it happening live on stream kind of put the pin in all of the issues we had all weekend.
Yeah.
Because most all of our disconnects were off stream. Him DCing on stream, I think, is what really has kind of set a lot of this in motion. Because yesterday, Blizzard released a blog post or a forum post about the whole situation, and I was going to try to pull it up real quick because it was it was important, and they have come out and said they're looking into it. They're going to try to figure out how to minimize as many of these issues as possible going into next season, which is in after the new start of the new year, because we're at the end of the competition season for Year of the Mammoth, basically. So, you guys have any questions for me?
No, it sounded like you handled yourself really well. One thing I wanted to mention was I know there's been a lot of flack on Blizzard handling these things, which it is the responsibility of Blizzard to work with those ISPs and work with those locations to make sure that these type of things don't happen. But there's only so much an initial stress test can do. You really don't know how these type of things are going to happen until you have a full-on, maxing out of the network like an event like this. Now, it would have been nice to try to schedule maybe at one of these upcoming events at these locations that haven't been used before. Maybe try to do a promotionary thing where you're getting a large amount of people to the location, maybe at a fireside 2 or 3 weeks prior. But other than that, a lot of this onus is on the ISP, and in this case, Comcast. This is something they should have been able to identify quickly, and with their business class network, they should be able to resolve it quickly, and they did not. That is nothing on Blizzard themselves, and I think they handled it as best they could. And obviously, they had, a great chief in command there, Avanti, making sure everything went as smoothly as they can, despite all the problems.
I was just trying to keep people calm and focused.
You can shake your head all you want. Reddit specifically gave you compliments about your calmness and keeping it.
Somebody's breathing hard into their mic.
Yeah,
and now it's stopped.
Not here. But yeah, you've done a great job, and I can't stress that enough. We're lucky to have you kind of piloting this ship, and you did a great job up there.
Well, I appreciate it, but as I told the players, I actually took, and this
how many
is something.
Players did you have?
We had 18 players. We had Amnesiac, we had Ray C, we had Muzzy, we had Dr. Jikaniki, we had Yoet's Flow, we had Ike, we had, you pretty much name them from the eastern part of the United States. They were there. But it was rough, and I apologize personally to all the players. I went up to each of them. I shook their hand. I told them I'm sorry for all the issues. They told me they realized it was not my fault personally, and I told them I know, but I still felt like my job as innkeeper was to try to mitigate as much of these issues as possible. And it was just something that was out of our grip, but I still felt like I needed to apologize for it. So, but no, it was a good weekend overall.
So chat's talking about having a tournament environment server almost, where they can pause the tournament when a disconnect happens. Now I know they have something set up like that for the HGC Heroes of the Storm for when they are in a LAN together. But I think when they play in their individual matches through the week, I think if a player disconnects, they just have to play without that player.
Yes.
So I'm not certain. For there are 3 times out of the year that a region has to do a playoff, I don't see why it would be such a big deal to put them on their individual server, because I know that even though the HGC players, if they disconnect and they can't get reconnected, they're kind of on their own, but they still play on a server that is on a patch most of the time behind what the live server is on. I don't see why it would be that hard to put just a couple of people's accounts in the grand scheme of things when you got as many players as Hearthstone has. 200 players is just a few people. Put them on a server independent of the live servers so that they could pause that if they needed to. And if that means that you have to pause everyone's games, then pause everyone's games. I don't think very many people are going to mind if it means that everyone's getting a fair shake, and when it happens to them, the same thing would occur. So I don't understand why Hearthstone is so much different than Overwatch or Heroes in this manner.
There's been a lot of suggestions that one thing that could possibly solve something like this would be a built-in tournament mode, where when you're in that specific type of mode, it's maybe a registered tournament, kind of like a fireside gathering, where you have a registered fireside and you have your different modes, and you can pull those statistics up. Maybe there's a tournament mode that's only for organized tournaments, and it goes through a different server and it pulls those accounts, and it can be paused and started by the admins. Again, that would end up being on Blizzard's side, because you have players in Massachusetts playing against players down in South America or Mexico or up in Canada. So it would be kind of difficult in that kind of setting when you're having your regional tournaments. But it is something that it can happen. Lots of games have tournament modes that span across the world.
Yeah, so
the one thing that they have in common that Hearthstone doesn't have as much of is toxicity.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think if you add a tournament mode to Hearthstone, then I think it's going to up the toxicity. It's kind of like in Overwatch. I'm going to use Overwatch as an example of something that Blizzard kind of had going well, and then they kind of changed some things around, and now it's not as fluid. But they used to have, you could go in and your normal play mode, you could play against the AI in the normal play mode. Well, then they took that away and they hid it in the practice menu. So you have to go into practice now to play against the AI. But what that did was that forced people to go into the play mode to have to play in the quick match environment, which was super toxic. Well, right now, the ladder, you guys get the salty friend requests afterwards when you beat somebody. Now, imagine if there's something actually on the line that's not just laddering. You imagine the level of toxicity when you were hidden behind the safety of the internet. Can you imagine what would happen from a toxicity standpoint as these online tournaments start to happen through the online tournament mode without an innkeeper there to keep things civil and kind of keep the peace?
Well, my thought is the tournament mode would be kind of like the fireside tools, where it would only be able to be administered and used by an admin.
Or by an innkeeper or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, by an innkeeper or an admin. So someone who is at these events that makes a tournament and gives a code, and that it's not a mode that you can just hop on when you're sitting on the toilet and pop in a tournament. It's actually for organized tournaments, with a tournament organizer, not just pick up 8 people and do a tournament.
Yeah, that might could work. I could see something like that. So the official Blizzard response states, over the course of the event, playoff venues experienced multiple DDoS attacks and equipment malfunctions that disrupted the tournament. As a result, affected players were unfortunately required to restart games due to disconnections. This also caused extended wait times between games. While we've made efforts to address the issues as they were occurring, we want to be clear that the resulting experience this past weekend was not acceptable, and we sincerely apologize to the competitors who were adversely affected. There is still much we can do to improve the overall competitive experience and to reduce the number of issues that can occur. We are currently discussing several improvements that we would like to implement as early as the start of the next Hearthstone Championship Tour season. We are also going to reevaluate equipment requirements and venue capabilities to make sure we deliver a better competitive experience for our players, as well as design additional fallbacks in case of disconnects. The Hearthstone Championship Tour has grown over the years into a circuit with high expectations, and we are currently striving to deliver a better experience. We would not have been able to build this program without your participation, both as players and viewers, and your feedback is valuable as we build out our plans for the Hearthstone Championship Tour 2018. So, and the response from the community to this post has been mostly really positive. They're glad that they have acknowledged it, that they're looking into it, and looking forward to seeing what comes out of it.
And this is another thing I want to bring up. They mentioned the DDoS attacks, and that's direct denial of service, where someone actually targets a specific server or switch or set of switches and tries to overload them so that traffic gets basically stalled. They keep a lot of this from happening by having dedicated equipment that obviously is not normally on the various networks that have specific IP addresses and ranges. Therefore, they're not known. Unfortunately, they also require the players to declare their venue ahead of time, and they get that information and make it public, just like they do with deck lists. So it wouldn't be very hard for someone to find out that a majority of the players for the America's summer playoffs are at one location. 18 out of, what was there, 72? 18 out of 72 players, I believe, is what the number was.
I thought they said 67, but it might.
Well, there's 64 that get invited, and then 8 Tavern Heroes. So there may have only been 67 that showed up, but 72 is the max number. So 18 out of 72 possible people in one location, that's huge for North America, Central America, and South America. So if somebody knew this information, while they can't actually get the information of the equipment used for that venue, they can find out who the ISP is and just slam that ISP. In this case, it was Comcast. Now, whether that was the sole reason or if there are other underlying reasons, who knows? Only Comcast and possibly Blizzard know of the full details. But these type of things happen. We have people out there that are trying to ruin it. Maybe they need to kind of limit their disclosure of this information to the public and just keep it within the innkeepers and the venues, which is hard to do with Twitter and that kind of stuff. People saying, I can't wait to go to our venue. We have so many people there. And then somebody finds out the address and does that. But I don't want to overshadow the results for this.
Let's talk about it, because overall it was still a fun tournament to watch.
Oh yeah, it was a great tournament. After the Swiss rounds, they go into the top 8 into single elimination, and our top 8 are Purple, Luker, Amnesiac, Ike, Empanizado, Yay Tears, Nalguidan, and D Pac-Man. What are your thoughts of these 8 players? Did you see any of this tournament? Anything stand out to you guys?
I actually had to work, so I actually didn't see much of the tournament.
I saw a little bit
of
the
highlights.
Just a little.
I saw a little bit of it.
just a little bit. So Avantes is probably better suited for this one.
So, I have to say that seeing players like Empanizado and Nalguidan come out of South America the way they did, playing extremely high, Well,
Mexico and South America. Yeah.
yeah, because now I think Nalguidan was out of Argentina.
Brazil is it Argentina?
I think he
Okay.
was out of Argentina.
Yeah,
So-
and Empanizado is actually
is-
the first Mexico player to qualify in the top 8 of any of the America's playoffs at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So and Purple has been here before. He's done
Mhm.
this before. He's well known. Of course, so is Amnesiac. You know, you really don't you really come to expect him to make top 8. Ike,
Well,
this was Ike's first major tournament. So to see him come out and compete at the level he did was really awesome for me personally.
yeah, and Luker is actually fairly new in the scene. He's been in I think he's been in one other playoff, but he's also a kind of a new face. And I've never heard of Yay Tears, but they say he's been in the circuit for a little while.
Yeah, and D Pac-Man is a member of the Out of Pocket Gamers out of Fairfax, Virginia, and the Cave. So
That's an awesome
yeah.
gamers.
I remember watching him play at DreamHack Atlanta.
Yep.
So
Yep. I like their little jerseys, the out of pocket gamer jerseys.
yeah, yeah,
Basically, they're a team of players that have no sponsorship, so they do all of their funding out of pocket. It's really funny.
yeah.
But the top 4 are Purple, Empanizado, Nalguidan, and Yay Tears.
Yeah.
Now you'll notice. First off, let's focus on some of these names. Yay Tears is these are the people going to Los Angeles. Yay Tears is the only United States representative that's going to be going to LA.
He also knocked out Amnesiac to get there.
I'm going to come back to that. Empanizado is the first player from Mexico, and you'll remember his name from the Mexico Hearthstone Global Games team, along with and my brain just froze on her name.
The female Mexico
Wow,
player. Yeah.
It's been a long week, guys. Sorry,
But he
the
also
focus-
knocked out Ike to get there.
he knocked out Ike. Now Purple is just good, and Nalguidan, he's good. He's been in these seats before. Yay Tears upset Amnesiac. Now Amnesiac was nothing but cordial and complimentary. Said Yay Tears earned it. He fell short again, but he's very proud of his performance, as well he should be. I think he should really be proud that he has come basically in 9th or in 5th in 2 playoffs so far. A lot of players can't say that. I have given Amnesiac a lot of flack because I do think that he has a lot of potential but he has a lot of growth left to go. And I know a lot of people say he's young, but there's also some young Hearthstone players that perform at a high level without some of the flamboyancy that he displays. But I'm really proud of his play. I think you're going to see Amnesiac next season just come and blow the scene out like he did in winter last year.
Yeah. So chat helping us out. Epsilon is her name.
Epsilon. Yes, thank you guys.
Ink said that Yay Tears just straight up got the nut draw 3 games in a row against
He
Amnesiac.
did. And I will agree that he definitely pulled a Pavel and drew when he needed to. And a lot of that was in the opening part of the game, which is, sometimes this part of winning Hearthstone is having luck at the right time to accompany your skill.
It's something we'll talk about some in that next
Yes.
next segment that we've got coming up too. So
And
remind
then-
me that I want to come back to this point.
Gotcha. And then our winter is Purple defeats Nalguidan 3-1. And as the casters said the entire time, Purple had his resting smug face on.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
His post game interview was crazy. If you have not seen it, you have to go YouTube it, because Purple was straight up savage in his post game interview. I could not
Yes.
even believe what I was hearing.
He was saying that players were bad for making specific decisions, and these are players that were in the finals with him.
Yeah,
and
even
in the semifinals.
even in his opponent in the final, he was saying, well, he deserved to lose because he made really bad plays.
Yeah. And, you know, while I'm not a fan of that kind of bravado in a live tournament scenario, he did back it up. He is only the third person this year, to run the entire playoff tournament 10-0. One of those being Pavel. So he's obviously backing it up. At one point, his opponent decides to put an eye for an eye up for the possible chance that Purple makes a mistake. That's the only way he was going to win the game, is if Purple made a mistake and misjudged the secret.
The secret.
And, of course, the casters are talking about it. Purple's not going to make this mistake. And as soon as Purple's turn hit, the mouse went straight to the 8-8, went straight to face, and they're like, oh, my gosh, he's going to do it. And he just stops and looks at the camera, shakes his head, laughs, does this.
Yeah, he wags the finger at the camera.
Does the wag finger.
And then slings the 2-5.
Swings
in.
the two
2-3 or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 2-3. So that he doesn't, die from the eye for an eye. And then he just laughs at the camera. He was having fun with it.
Yeah.
And I have seen Purple do some of these events where they have special tournaments at drinking establishments, and they're all player sponsored, player driven, and he's casted some of those events. He's competed in some of those events. I haven't seen Purple perform at this level in a long time, since last year. And furthermore, I haven't seen Purple have this much fun with it. And while he is getting a little bravado and he does come off as a little bit, egocentric, he is always really good to the community. But he is going to call out if he thinks you make a bad play. And I'm just really impressed by Purple this season, and I think he's going to do really well in LA. I don't know if he'll be able to keep up that run with the level of competition that we're going to see at the World Championship, but we'll just have to see.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's move on to our next topic, which is the Nerfs went live this past Monday, September 18th. So, we've had 2 days of a new meta with changed Innervate, changed Spreading Plague, a more expensive Fiery War Axe,
Hex.
and more expensive Hex. So what do you guys feel? Have you noticed any changes yet? Are you still seeing some of the cards being played? Zeroshio, you're nodding your head. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, the meta really hasn't changed much. I mean, you're seeing people experiment with decks that were harder to play with those cards, keeping them in check, especially Fiery War Axe and Spreading Plague. So you're seeing Hunter, you're seeing Zoo Warlock, you're seeing different more variations on the Shaman decks, where it's not just that Evolve package. They're able to slow their game down a little bit more. But I'm still seeing Fiery War Axe and Pirate decks. I'm still seeing Spreading Plague. I have even seen live on Disguised Toast stream, he got turn 1, Innervate Flappy Bird, Vicious Fledgling. On turn 1, they just, instead of 1 Innervate, they just used 2.
that was funny. That was funny.
and got demolished. So I mean, people are still putting Innervates in their Druid decks. I'm still seeing Murloc-based Paladin decks with Murloc War Leader, because if you think about it, the health was really inconsequential for the most part. They used Murloc War Leader specifically for that extra 2 points of damage on each Murloc. You're seeing more finesse plays with Megasaur giving Divine Shields or giving health which I think is what they wanted to see out of that nerf. But none of these cards that I've seen, uh, aside from maybe Hex because Hex wasn't played in the first place, are dead because of the nerf.
Okay. Versika, thoughts?
Well, your meta snapshot decks, like your top 4 decks for the month of September before the nerfs hit, were Aggro Token Druid in the number 1 spot, Jade Druid in the number 2 spot, Aggro Pirate Warrior in the number 3 spot, Midrange Murloc Paladin in the number 4 spot, and Evolved Token Shaman in the number 5 spot. The only thing this nerf really did was probably drop the popularity of Jade Druid down underneath the Token Shaman. I don't know how much is going to affect its win rate, because I feel like people that played a lot of Jade Druid will probably still play a lot of Jade Druid and will probably figure a way around it. I would say that the nerf probably impacted those who hadn't really invested a lot of time into learning Jade Druid, and it was more just the flavor and the most powerful deck out there, they felt like. So I think the number of people playing Jade Druids dropped, but not necessarily the effectiveness. So I still wouldn't. It's like I'm still running Geist in my decks just to make sure.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to what's working on the ladder is actually kind of mirroring what was brought to the summer playoffs. And I feel like that hasn't been as big a case before, but your more popular decks that are having a lot of people play them are kind of what's been showing up in the NA region, and that worries me for BlizzCon, because I feel like the other regions, they kind of have a not necessarily a different lineup, but a lineup that is showing more inventive tech and a little more on the control side, but it's more like they have a sort of like a tournament sub meta, which you see some of the ladder decks, and then almost everyone is bringing sort of one deck to just kind of throw everybody out of sync.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like NA, it was straight down the board. It's like, I see that on ladder every day. I see that on ladder every day. I see that on ladder every day. Except for Yay Tier's mid-range Hunter, which is nowhere on any of the meta snapshots that I saw in Tier 1 or Tier 2. And, I don't know. Do you think maybe that's why he got as far as he did? Was because he brought that one deck that no one really knew what to do, and so it kind of threw everybody's deck ordering out of whack, and they didn't. I mean, it's not that it was that hard to handle. It was more like, well, what do I open with now? What do I lead back out with? I think it allowed him to use Pirate Warrior more effectively.
Yeah. I think I would agree with you, and I would further that in the fact that Nalguidan also made top 4, and he brought a deck that we're going to be playing tonight, which is a mid-range Hunter, which Hunter before the nerf, this was just before the nerf, wasn't very prevalent, and now after the nerf has become more prevalent, especially with this build here. So, and one thing you didn't quite mention that I think is kind of the pin that's hitting everything together for tournament meta as well as ladder is Priest. Priest has 2 major archetypes that are very differing and have weaknesses and strengths that are different. You have your Razakus Priest and you have your Easy Big Priest. And each one has its weaknesses and strengths that are different than the other. And that's what's kind of, to me, been the difference in these HCT tournaments and DreamHack tournaments, as well as on the ladder, is Priest is kind of keeping a lot of decks in check while also allowing other decks to run over them, depending on which variety of Priest they are. So
well, I think Priest, because the Razakus Priest is really the only thing keeping aggro in check, If you,
Sure.
I mean, you take a look at that list, and out of your top 5 decks, 4 of them are aggressive.
Yep.
Razaka's Priest actually comes in at 6.
But at the same time, the Big Easy Priest gets ran over by aggro, but keeps the control decks in check because
Right.
the control decks have a hard time handling that large, very powerful threat every single turn that just eventually snowballs.
Right.
So a Priest, I think, is in the best spot, which is funny because it's not showing up on the top tier on the tier list. It's
I have-
technically a tier 2 deck.
I have Razaka's Priest in at tier 2 in the 6th spot, and then I have Big Easy Priest in the tier 2 spot, or tier 2 list in the 8th spot.
Exactly. So it's a tier 2 deck that keeps tier 1 decks in check.
I actually expected Paladin to kind of be in that kind of driver's seat, to have the versatility with not the Frozen Throne. It surprises me that Priest ended up being that sort of buffer. that
Yeah,
it's
and
turned out to be.
Paladin's in a weird spot now, especially after the nerf, because a lot of the decks that are now strong because of the nerfs, you're talking about your rogues and your hunters, Paladin has a hard time against those. And right now I'm doing a lot of testing on Paladin because Paladin's my bae and I want to make sure it works, especially in THL. So look forward to some testing from me,
Yeah.
Paladin. I'm trying to bring Control Paladin back, but we'll just have to see.
Okay. So that brings us to our last topic, breathing. There we go. All right. So that brings us to our next topic, which is this week's Tavern Brawl, the Great Stone of Challenge. Welcome, heroes, to the Great Stone of Challenge. Your deck building prowess will be tested. You may only use spells with an even cost. You may only use minions with an odd attack. Build a deck and fight for the Stone of Challenge. Now, this is one of the, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was one of the Challenge Stone events from BlizzCon last year or year before. Has this ever been a Tavern Brawl?
Yes, but I think the rules were a little different. I think it might have been reversed last time, where it was spells with even or spells with odd and minions with even. But yes, this has been before. This is actually from the was inspired by the Challenge Stone that Kriparian sponsored.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually kind of a parody of that, and it looks like they're just bringing it back. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It makes for some interesting play around because you can kind of guess, well, my opponent definitely doesn't have this, or they don't expect me to have this because of the cost. Discover effects become very powerful, and random effects that give you cards also becomes powerful. So I had fun with this one. It let me knock out my shaman quest, and yeah, a lot of fun.
Cool. You had a chance to play it yet, Verstika?
Oh yeah, and Zeroshio is right. Shaman is the way to go in this challenge. They
Cool.
they have that really great mix of odd, because of the overload in Shaman. A lot of your attack values are odd to begin with, so you get to use most of the important minions in Shaman, and your spells. Now that Hex actually moved into the 4th spot, it helped you in this particular Tavern Brawl because you're able to include it. So we're able to run Devolve, Hex, Maelstrom Portal. It was I don't want to say easy, but I've not lost yet.
Cool.
And there is one specific number that is odd, and it's the number 7. So a 4-mana 7/7 is really strong, especially when a lot of your removal to get rid of said 4-mana 7/7, like Shadow Word Death, is an odd number and can't be used.
And
Yep.
since it is wild,
Yep.
Lava Shock is 2 casting costs, which makes it viable inside this particular Tavern Brawl. So you can conceivably go 4-mana 7/7 into into 5-mana 7/8
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 turns later. I mean, it's
Dr.
It's
Boom.
completely possible. Yep.
Dr. Boom's another one.
Lots of great options, which I haven't had a chance to do this yet, so I'm gonna probably give it a shot after the show tonight. So
and
I will say
Wide-Eyed
had-
Rex.
Oh yeah, he does. I did have trouble with Mage because Mage, most of their burn spells are even cost, so they pretty much just ignore your board and just burn your face.
Okay.
Yeah, but not any secrets.
That's true.
That's not entirely true
Well,
because yeah, I had a lot of secrets played on me because of Discover effects.
yeah.
Oh well,
get 'em
yeah,
off
but
of-
I mean,
Yeah,
you
primordial.
don't have
Glyph
to
or whatever.
plan around 2 ice blocks. You don't
That's
have to
true.
plan around 2 ice barriers.
Mm-hmm. So
That's
all
very
right.
true.
So as we were talking about earlier, Yay Tears and Nalguidan had really good success with the mid-range hunter this weekend, and we wanted to kind of dig into that deck a little bit. So that's what we're going to be playing this evening is the Nalguidan mid-range hunter deck. So this deck consists of 2 Blood Cell Corsair, 2 Hungry Crab, which did so much work this weekend, Patches the Pirate, 2 Tracking, 2 Crackling Razor Maw, 2 Galaka Crawler, which did so much work this weekend, 2 Kindly Grandmothers, 2 Animal Companions, 2 Bear Sharks, which did so much work this weekend, 2 Deadly Shots, 2 Eaglehorn Bows, 2 Kill Commands, 1 Stitch Tracker, 2
That's a very
Houndmasters,
important card in this deck.
1 Spellbreaker, 1 Bittertide Hydra, 1 Deathstalker Rexar, and 1 Savannah Highmane. So, and I think it was Purple in his post-win interview who said, when you just double Galaka Crawler, in your opening hand, you don't have to worry about anything else because you just win. So it was pretty interesting to see it work this weekend. It was a lot of fun to watch this deck too, because and that's what, while I was running the Fireside on Sunday, I had a female player there who said she was mostly a Hunter main and had been pretty upset over the lack of Hunter in the previous meta, and now she was really excited to see it making a comeback thanks to cards like Deathstalker, Rexar, and some of the interesting mid-range builds. So, all right, you guys had a chance to play this deck at all?
Oh yeah, I played it horribly for a couple days. Again, I've had a lot going on in my personal life, so my play hasn't been the most stellar. But I'm playing around, I was bouncing between rank 2 and 5, mainly going from 2 to 5, and did pretty poorly with this. I made some changes. The tracking, while it's been stated it's very important on the pro player side, I haven't learned the finesse of it, and I'm not really much of a hunter player. I subbed out the tracking, but then eventually subbed it back in, and it is important for trying to find your Deathstalker Rexar. I have been playing a variation of this deck that takes some of the control out and puts in Hemet Nessingwary to basically use all your early game, and then Hemet to blow your deck up to get right to your Deathstalker Rexar faster. And I'm having more success with that version, but this one is less streaky than that deck, which I will admit to that. I would like to see 2 Savannah Highmanes or 2 Bittertide Hydras. However, the Stitch Tracker in here might as well be a Savannah Highmane or a Bittertide Hydra. It's like having an extra one of those cards, whichever one you need in the deck. I like to hold my Stitch Tracker till I get rid of some of those lower cost minions, so I'm guaranteed to get the higher ones. And he's kind of been, now that I've learned to play with Stitch Tracker, he's been my MVP for the deck.
Gotcha. Versika?
This is kind of like mayonnaise to me. I don't touch it.
Oh wait,
No, actually,
It's Rexar. That's right.
Honestly, Hunter funds Hearthstone for me, so I have virtually no Hunter cards. To build this deck would have actually cost me quite a bit of dust. So,
Gotcha.
I've played against it quite a bit. I mean, it is what it is. There's really, I don't feel like there's any finesse or subtlety to it. So, you either draw well against it or it draws well against you. It is very much, in my opinion, like Pirate Warrior. It either gets a good draw and it runs over you, or it struggles or draws awkwardly. And when it draws awkwardly, there's not a lot you can do to get back in the game.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you there.
I didn't think you wouldn't.
Specifically because of one card, and that is Deathstalker Rexar. The main problem with Hunter historically is you tend to get to a point, no matter how much card draw you put in the deck, because you're wanting to invest so much to the board and so much going face, that you end up top decking, and that's all you can do is you're drawing one card every turn, hoping it's the right one to help you win the game. Well, with Deathstalker Rexar, you actually can use your hero power to supplement your card draw, and usually you will find the right combination of cards to help you get through that turn while you slowly build up your hand again. And he's really been a saving grace for me. One of the big things is board removal, and if you can get I think it's bloated fiery bat, or whatever it is, with the stubborn gastropod, and they have no way to silence it or transform it, polymorph or hex, and they have to kill it, and the death rattle goes off, it clears the entire board on their side. So while I still don't think Hunter is in a top spot, this is definitely a change with the meta change and the nerfs and this most recent set with the hero cards. I believe Hunter can find a home mid to low tier 2. I think that's as best as they're going to be till the new set, but this is a good version of that deck.
I think tier 2 is a little optimistic.
Low tier 2.
I think it's probably top tier 3, and that's for someone that is an experienced Hunter player and knows how to play it. Like, I don't go wide.
I can buy that.
I don't go wide anymore. There's so much wide board removal. It just doesn't make sense. So my decks aren't built to present more than 2 or 3 threats at a time. Deathstalker Rexar changes the Hunter power into a more interesting hero power, as far as I'm concerned. But it also takes the foot off the gas. So it almost tells you when it's time to switch to hitting the Hunter's face. So unless the player really knows what they're doing, if they play Deathstalker Rexar too early, they're removing a lot of their aggression and a lot of their pressure. And if you're playing against somebody that knows what they're doing on the other side, that's basically saying, okay, I can no longer pressure you. So now, as long as you can control my board, you can beat me because I now removed part of my win condition. So it's one of those things where this is an aggressive mid-range deck. I know that we've talked about this before, how mid-range it's kind of like being independent in politics. You're either conservative leaning or you're liberal leaning. Well, in the world of Hearthstone, in mid-range, you're either aggressive leaning or you're control leaning.
Right.
So this is an aggressive leaning mid-range with Deathstalker Rexar as sort of the backup in case your aggression plan doesn't quite go the way you want it to. But most of the time when I play this, they're dead before they get to the bottom third of their deck. And if Deathstalker Rexar is in the bottom third of their deck, usually it doesn't feel like it impacted the game much. But if they draw Deathstalker Rexar in the middle, it's problematic. A lot of people will play him too early, and that's also it's a common mistake, and it's very easy to beat someone who plays him early. And like I said, I didn't make the deck. I don't have the cards for it. So I'm only talking as a player who's played against it instead of someone that's played with it
Right.
this time. And as someone who has played against it, I want you to cast Deathstalker Rexar turn 5 or turn 6, because that means that I'm going to be in a better position to win.
And I will parrot that. One thing about this Deathstalker Rexar is it does take finesse in playing him. You have to kind of manage your mana and know, well, basically if you have a handful of cards in Deathstalker Rexar and you're in turn 6, you really don't want to put him out. But if you, by turn 6, have your hand pretty much exhausted and you have Deathstalker Rexar, it may be good to put him out and then focus your hero power on either managing the board or get charge minions or minions that can get damage to the face substantially. So you're kind of supplementing that 2 damage a turn hero power since you're top decking anyways. So there is a lot of finesse. There are times to put him out on turn 6, but there are few and far between. Most of the time you're going to want to hold him and save your turn 6 for high mains and other cards to kind of supplement what the deck can't do. There was a point in chat, and Ducharmo mentioned it, is that this deck is not meant to be on the ladder. And yes, this is a tournament deck. We are taking it in its true format. There are some variations you can put in it. You can put the nesting rocks in it and some of the more control-y, slower pieces in it to help manage the meta right now. It is used to target paladins and specifically pirate warrior. And right now you're not seeing that on the ladder, but keep this in your back pocket, because if those decks do start coming back, this will be a great target for that.
Yeah.
This actually is a really good deck for Last Hero Standing, because
Yes.
it gives you the opportunity to counter a deck that just beat you.
Yeah. So I'm ready to take it out and drive it, and I haven't gotten to play it yet because I've been really busy catching up on work from being out all weekend. So let's go check it out. So any last thoughts you guys want to throw out there before we move on? Anything we talked about you want to touch on anymore? Versika, we'll start with you.
Nothing that we talked about on this episode, but there is one thing that I would like to bring up, and that is that for those of you that listen to the show, you know that we are a podcast community as well as a Hearthstone community. And you know that one of the shows that we're close to is the Hearth Coach podcast.
Yes.
Well, the Hearth Coach podcast, part of that duo resides in Florida, and he lost his home in the recent flooding from Irma. And if you don't follow us on Twitter or Facebook, we've actually posted a link to his GoFundMe page. So if you're a fan of the show, fan of Hearth Coach, or you just like helping out good people and you want to know where your money goes, like I don't donate to these causes unless I know how my money is being spent and I know where my money is going. This is a great opportunity to help a great guy just get back on his feet. He's not even asking for everything that is going to take to get him back there. He's just asking for help to get started. So we'll put that in the show notes. We'll put a link to it in the show notes so that you guys can go and help Dan from Hearth Coach if you feel so inspired.
You can also go to hearthcoach.net, and at their website there's a link there for the GoFundMe as well. That's definitely something I implore everybody to do. He could use the help, and he's a great guy. He loves the podcast community and loves this game.
Absolutely. So
I do have my own little shout out.
Mm-hmm.
This is totally off topic of Hearthstone and the community. Anybody out there who has any loved ones that may be suffering with any kind of mental illness or negative thoughts or depression in their life, don't turn a blind eye to it or a deaf ear. If you have a family member that seems sad and is having trouble coping with things, please reach out to them and just ask them if they need any help and show them love. Especially if they are giving signs that they're they're looking at hurting themselves. Check in on your family if you haven't talked to them in a while, and just make sure your family knows you love them.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys. So, if you're joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast, and you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOgamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do that by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. Until next week.
Don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty, let's
I think you hold that pause on purpose.
just kind of throw you
So I
off.
make that silly face. Yeah. Throwing me off every week.
All right, guys. So we don't have any thing going on right now, so we can jump right into the play portion of the show. Oh gosh, I only have 4 decks at the moment. So that's how much Hearthstone I've been able to play in the last 2 weeks. And one of the decks I built today and haven't played it yet. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of this deck. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely topsy-turvy, and the game can change on a dime.
Right. All right.
All right, you got your opponent?
Yep, we're playing a mage. Our opening hand is Rexar, Houndmaster, Bloodcell Corsair, Kill Command. And
Toss it all. Even Bloodcell Corsair seems like really quick early damage. Problem is Mage doesn't have a weapon, and the 1/1 easily gets pinged off.
yeah. What do you think?
It's a 1/2 though.
It is a 1/2, but he's talking about patches.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I would throw everything back, but
the
Bloodcell
Corsair,
Corsairs,
that's kind of what I was thinking.
You know, if this is
Yeah.
some form of freeze mage or Exodia mage, that early pressure could mean the difference.
And you could draw into a Galactic Crawler, which we did. So turn 1 Bloodcell, they kill the 1/1. If they leave the Corsair up, that's a turn 2, 3, 4.
That's
That's a totem goal.
Yep.
Without the overload. So that's a good point. That's a good point.
I like that play, actually.
Feeds us right into Bear Shark, which we drew into. Actually, we got a really good hand. And the trick against Mage right now is just early pressure.
Oh,
Oh.
Nice.
What? Normally don't see that minion Shimmering Tempest unless they're running Quest Mage, which we didn't see the quest.
yeah. So, what do you guys think about just going face with both of these and then Galactic Crawler the patches?
I think that plays in the Frostbolt too much. I like clearing with the patches, going face with Corsair, and then just using
Galactic
Galaka
Crawler.
on the Corsair after clearing his minion. What do you think, Rasika?
I like sending it all to face and Galaka on patches.
Okay.
Okay.
And then that sets us up, I think, for a solid turn 3.
Yeah, we have a lot of good options on 3.
Mhm.
We have Bear Shark, which is we really want to clear board if we're going to Bear Shark. There's the Frostbolt. At least we know he's probably going to invest 2 mana to ping that next turn. I think
Okay.
Bear Shark all day.
I think
Yeah, I like Bear Shark, and I actually like coining into Hungry Crab.
so. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely like Hungry Crab over the Blood Cell because we may get the other Galactic Crawler to
Right.
to use
And
the
we
blood
want to
cell.
be able to activate it. Yeah.
And we have Animal Companion for any future Beast Synergy for Kill Command or Hound Master. So.
Oh,
Going to cold. This is a very odd build. And then he got that in his deck. He didn't pull it off of anything. Interesting. So
crackling razor maw
Bear Shark.
on Bear Shark.
Yep.
definitely would be on the Bear Shark. There's
Plus
health.
3 health.
Plus 3
Yeah,
health.
I like the
yeah.
health. Yeah, definitely.
And then hero power pass.
Um,
Is there any merit to
Why-
tracking here?
I was curious to say, why are you holding the tracking?
Yeah. Just
Do we know do we want to dig for High Main or Death Star Stalker Rexar?
See, and that's what I'm asking is, this is the line of thought going through my head. Why are we holding on to tracking? We don't really know the type of mage we're playing yet, right?
correct.
Exactly. That
So
may be why
I
we're
th-
holding it.
Yeah, I think holding on to tracking is sound here. Bloodsail Corsair doesn't really give us any type of board presence or board initiative, so I think hero powering and putting a little bit more pressure on is good.
Yeah, because with
Sorry.
tracking, we don't really know what to look for, and it's too early to try to get Rexar. I think you're right there. I like that line. It's good to think of the thought process though. Night, see me. Thanks for checking us out. So that 4/5 is going to be really hard for him to take. Oh wow, Houndmaster.
Yeah.
This is looking great.
I
I
like
like Houndmaster, but you want to make sure he's on the left side of Bear Shark.
Houndmaster actually on the crackling.
Okay, but we still want him on the left side of Bear Shark, right? To play around Meteor.
Yeah, but we definitely don't want him on Bear Shark.
Okay, so put him on the crackling.
Put him on the crackling, but put him to the left of Meteor.
Okay.
So he's going on the right side of the.
No, he's going
No,
on
he's
the left side
of
but
Bear
you're going to
Shark.
target the crackling.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes.
And go face with both.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. Make him invest the card draw.
Yeah, if he wants the Acolyte, he's gonna have to run it into something, or he's gonna have to invest 2 mana into pinging it.
And putting him in the middle means he can't target the Bear Shark with the Meteor, which is
Gotcha.
what he wants to do. Desperately wants to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's thinking there.
Yeah.
You saw him put the arrow out.
Yep, that's exactly what he wants to do because that would clear the 4/3 amp. Yep, there he goes.
And there it
And
is.
so,
Okay.
Dusharmo, the reason that you don't put it on Bear Shark is if you were to put it on Bear Shark, it would allow it to be targeted by Black Knight.
That I didn't think about with the weird tech we saw in this. That is that's a good thought. I didn't think about Black Knight at all. It's in the meta right now.
Okay. So there's game one. Let's check out the next.
And see, Bear Shark was already a 4/5, so that kind of plays around Flame Strike a little bit, anyways, because it can't ping it down. It's not the same guy, is it?
No, not the same guy. All right, so we're going second again. We've got Bear Shark, Houndmaster, Bittertide Hydra, and Tracking.
I only like the Bear Shark in this. What do you think, Frasika?
I'm the same. I mean, you can make some cases for keeping either Tracking or Houndmaster.
Both.
I just don't like with the different mages we're seeing. I don't like keeping Tracking till we know what we're looking at. And with Houndmaster, I don't know if I'm going to be using my coin on turn 3 with Bear Shark in my hand already.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Houndmaster there, so I
just
say pitch
keep
everything
Bear
but
Shark?
Bear Shark.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Specifically because we have the coin and we can turn to Bear Shark
Yeah.
if we have to.
Yeah. So we draw
Ooh,
Corsair, Kindly Grandmother, and Patches. Oh, feels bad, man.
No,
What
that's
kind of-
okay.
What
'Cause
kind
Patch-
of monster has a golden patches?
Don't you remember him pulling that?
That's the kind of monster I was referring to.
Yeah. You just need a golden Galaka to go with him.
No, no, he doesn't. Ooh,
See, this is kind of what I was hoping for.
so we could Bear Shark and a Bear Shark.
We could Bear Shark into Bear Shark.
So, do we
you
want
know-
to drop the Corsair here?
We already have Patches in hand.
Yeah,
So I like the ability of Patches to hit the board, hit face, and then Galaka him. So I say put out the Blood Cell Corsair and make the opponent either invest a spell into clearing him or a ping and the
yeah,
worm.
Right.
that's my thought. I want to put something out because I want him to invest the 2 mana into a ping. It means he doesn't develop a spell, which makes our Bear Shark even stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's already a bear and a shark. Oh, wow, he doesn't do either, so that means he's not clearing the Corsair this turn. Interesting. Bear Shark?
I think you coined Bear Shark.
Is there any merit to putting out Conley Grandmother since he didn't ping that turn?
You think he'll ignore it?
I
And
do.
we could coin Houndmaster next turn?
I do.
Because I think he's going to develop a spell, which he's going to do a secret, and
Yep.
it will be, it'll make the worm a 2/3.
Yep.
So what do you think, since he's probably not going to ping the Corsair, putting Kindly Grandmother down and then hitting the Mana Worm for 1 with the Corsair?
I like it.
Because if he feels like he has to ping, he's not developing a secret.
Exactly. If he doesn't ping, he loses the Mana Worm. If he
Maybe-
develops the secret,
Yeah, he loses it regardless.
yeah.
See, now he pings. He wants to see if he can. Oh, he wants to clear the Kindly. He's playing around Houndmaster, which is smart. Oh, he's not.
Forbidden
Forbidden
Flame
Flame,
by
okay.
Babbling Book.
But this is fine. Because this opens us up for Bear Shark. And do we go ahead and coin Patches into the Mana Worm?
I think so.
I think so.
So Bear Shark coin Patches?
Yep.
He'll have to put both
He'll have to
minions,
invest everything.
and then we can Bear Shark again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The only problem is he might put out a secret. We don't know what type of mage this is. It could be Mirror Entity.
Well, if that's the case, if he plays a secret this turn, I say we open with Houndmaster.
There it is.
He's going to clear Bear Shark. Okay.
Uh,
there we
For
go.
our deck is there. Well, I
We
think
just-
Ditch Tracker.
that's. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll help us for Mirror Entity.
Oh, wow.
Like I said before, Stitch Tracker is almost always a second High Main or a second Bittertide Hydra.
Yeah, I like high main here.
Yeah, me too. So it's not Mirror Entity, Potion of Polymorph, or Frozen Clone.
Chances
there any
of
merit
this
to
being
deadly shotting here?
counterspell?
First, I would send this tracker to face the test for Ice Barrier.
Or Vaporize.
Or Vapor, yeah.
It's neither. So it's Ice Block, Counterspell, or...
That's pretty much the only options.
Yeah, the new one.
Is there any
so-
other spell we don't want countered aside from Deadly Shot?
Yeah, kill command, right?
Yeah. Is there anything else?
I think that's it.
Tracking is the only other option, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to burn a tracking into that counter spell, but we don't have it.
So do we go ahead and Bitter Tide here?
I could get behind that because we know it's not a mirror. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to deny him the card draw with the Deadly Shot, but at least he has to choose to either put some damage into the Hydra or get additional card draw. Now we have a second. Wow. A lot of card draw.
See, now I feel like we have to Deadly Shot. 'Cause I wasn't thinking about Animal Companion.
Yeah. So
it was a mana bind.
Mana bind. Okay.
Now,
So
Animal
Companion will help us play around Deadly Shot.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
Send
good.
8 to face.
That's the face. And we hit the right acolyte. Good job there, Vantis. Kidding. Okay, so that's
I was gonna say, so
LA. And then
he's got to be thinking. No, he's not going to Deadly Shot. He'll clear, draw a card. Now he Deadly Shots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
After he clears, and it's the only minion you Deadly Shot.
And that's actually perfectly okay because we got our 8 points of damage with Bitter Tide, and now
didn't take any.
Now we get to
Bear Shark and
Bear
Houndmaster.
Shark Houndmaster?
No, Savannah High Main tracking.
Okay. Was there any merit to tracking first, maybe?
No, because you're going to play Savannah High Main regardless.
Animal Companion.
Okay.
Or Kindly Grandmother.
Actually, Animal Companion, yes, because if he mainlines one counter spell or mana bond,
You may be playing one of each.
Does Conley do anything for us here? I don't feel like it does unless you use it in conjunction. Actually, you use it in conjunction with Houndmaster, and you can next turn we can put down every.
No,
one mana short.
No. Hold on. I'm saying we can put down 2 creatures, hero power. The turn after that, we can Rexar, Bear Shark if we wanted.
So we're taking Kindly.
I like Conley here.
I'm cool with Kindly.
Sorry, I'm thinking the next turn too. Next turn is Conley. Conley, Houndmaster, hero power. The turn after that, you can Rexar into Bear Shark.
So is just indulge me a minute. If you Bear Shark Hound, well, now he can run Medivh into it, so I guess it doesn't matter now. So the hindsight was good there. I still like the Kindly Grandmother, Houndmaster, and the hero power, and then head to face.
Yep.
We're developing a really strong board that's sticky. Both of our minions generate additional minions.
Matt at Arms in chat says Versika would be an amazing hunter player if he liked the class.
I think you're right. I know you're right, Matt at Arms. He just can't. There's a Firelands portal. I was actually expecting that last turn, but he wanted to get the Medivh value.
Oh, and he gets Knuckles.
Oh, wow.
And a 6/6. Ooh. But he's in a tough spot if he doesn't manage this board. And he's going to have a hard time. He's got to use Medivh to clear the 3/3.
Yep.
And he gets rid of one hyena. We're showing 11. We can pop the block at 1 if he doesn't clear any other minions, which it doesn't look like he's
not going to.
Is he going to take weapon to face?
I think he is. 9, 18.
He's trying to set up lethal.
He's got 20 on the board. If he's got a fireball, he does have lethal.
Yeah.
Puts us in the position to have to clear.
We need a Rexar draw. No, that doesn't help
Eaglehorn
us.
Bow doesn't do it.
So if we
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which doesn't pop the block.
wait, hold on. 7, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Well,
showing 14.
I was planning on running the Houndmaster into the Medivh to mitigate some damage, but
I think we almost have to.
Okay. Then now we're looking at like a 3-turn lethal then.
Yeah, but that eliminates a lot of his threat.
You're right. I don't think it's a bad play. Face.
Eagle Horn,
Yeah.
Hero Power, take it all to face. He's got
the order doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, he's got to clear the board.
go ahead and
Yeah,
play
Bear
Bear
Shark,
Shark.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely Bear Shark. And see, our Hero Power pops a block on its own now.
Yeah. Without Medivh, he can't take us into Fireball lethal range.
That's right. I think there's no, there's not even Pyro lethal. 9, 10, 11, 12. No, you can't even Pyro lethal us. We know that's Ice Block.
That, I think, is going to about do it, gentlemen.
What can save us now? That's only going to get us up to 11.
Yeah, that doesn't do it.
No. So I think
What I would do is I would send the hyena to face to pop the block. Rexar.
Hero
Use the
Power.
hero power. What can we get for 2 mana? I don't think we can get any. Trying to think.
Gastropod, right?
Gastropod would. No, because we'd have to get. So. Yeah. Galaka's the only way to go here, and even if you get a penguin, it doesn't have taunt or anything, so.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, pass and let them get us. That was close though.
Yep. It was close.
Alex Straza's, but there's the Pyroblast. That's what he was trying to decide if he wanted to take that 1 point of damage if it could get us in Pyroblast range.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flare is definitely a good tech man at arms for if you're seeing a lot of mages. Mages have always been popular, but right now they're just all over the place. You could predict what the mages were within the first 4 turns. But now they're just everywhere.
You could also, if you struggle with tracking, you could almost play Flare in place of tracking. It doesn't allow you to choose your card, but it does give you that card draw.
Yeah. Maybe a 1 of each then?
So we've got Mage again, and we've got Kill Command, Savannah Highmane, Houndmaster. Do we just throw it all back?
I wouldn't keep any of that.
No.
At this point, you just told him what you are, so he's going to know that we're meant to come out of the gate. So there's some merit into just keeping it slow.
This is terrible.
And I actually agree that tracking is a very underrated card. It's a very underplayed card, but I think it's because most people play it in turns where they don't actually know what they need, so they tend to use it poorly.
And it's funny because if you look at evaluations of cards that do draw you a card, a lot of players will tell you that drawing a card is worth about 1.5 mana. And in Flare, you get draw a card for 1 mana, and it has an additional effect that could be useful at times.
All right. So turn 3, he just played Razorfin Hunter. Our options are Animal Companion and Eaglehorn Bow.
Eaglehorn Bow.
Yeah,
take
bow
out
down to 2/3.
Okay, so assumptions you can make right off the bat. He's playing on his phone.
Because you're not seeing the cards light up.
No, seeing the cards light up. He's playing with the Android card back, which means I'm willing to bet he probably doesn't have a great selection of card backs to choose from.
Because he lags a lot because he's on an Android phone.
So I say here, go ahead and clear the 3-2 with your face.
And then Animal Companion?
And Animal Companion.
Awesome. We can also assume he is probably on the toilet.
So
He's
in a
not
minute,
roping.
if he's
'Cause not
roping,
wiping. He might be wiping. What face in the chat?
He's also not an experienced mobile player because he's not moving his finger around to where he wants to.
what do you guys think about just dropping the Bitter Tide here?
I like
I
it.
like it.
This is probably a free-to-play account too.
There's someone that just got started. I'm willing to bet it's probably someone that's just starting.
My father is a free-to-play player, and he has frequented into rank 19 a couple times. So it's not unheard of to see somebody in the high teens. Oh wow, this Rex our turn.
Right?
Wow, he is gonna punish us for that.
That's
he
all
thinks.
right.
I like Rexar here
Yeah.
because it gives us some armor, and we just go face. Let him put that 2-1 into the Bitter Tide.
So next turn we're going to be on 7. Think we just drop the high main and tracking?
No.
I like Spellbreaker on our 8-5.
Yeah, if he doesn't clear the 8-5 this turn, we Spellbreaker Bitter Tide.
Okay.
Yeah. See, he thinks he's got our number. Oh, I'm just going to chip him away for 3, which is a pretty smart play with his collection so far. Yeah, I don't know if I would have put the 2-1 into it, knowing he has a minion that'll kill it next turn.
Yeah, so right off the bat, go ahead and Deadly Shot.
Yeah. Deadly Shot, Spellbreaker.
Spellbreaker on the Bitter Tide.
Emote well played. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Not yet. We're on Flame Strike turn.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Matt at Arms says, "Are we playing your dad, Zeroshio?"
No, this is not my dad. This is not my dad. He's not 18 right now. I think he's 20, close to 19.
Just look at it this way. We're giving this guy a lesson.
Here we are.
For free.
And this mage didn't ping his own face, so I'm pretty sure it's not my dad.
We're
He's still
trying
there.
not to be too harsh on him.
So we have a little fun with the hero power this turn.
Yeah.
See
Come
what
on.
kind of
If they're my
zombies we
dad's
can build for
caliber-
6.
My
Come
dad just
on.
recently learned he could concede.
Why would you?
Yeah, I don't know. Unless he's okay, he arcane intellect into a blizzard.
Okay.
As I
Wind
bet what
Fury.
he did.
Oh, yeah, I probably should have, but I went with the 8/8 taunt.
It's smart. I mean, with what we're playing against, it's probably a good choice.
But you're not going to win with style.
An 8/8 smacking in the face is not style.
No, not one. Why smack him once when you can smack him twice?
We can't smack him twice. He's at 3 health. Won't let us smack him
Ice
twice.
barrier.
Fair enough.
It's the thought that counts, Zeroshio. It's the thought that counts.
It's not that we smacked him twice. It's that we could have smacked him twice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Somebody plays with Alakir a lot. Oh
Oh.
no! Oh no!
Yeah. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
no! Oh, yeah! Good
I
job.
like it.
He was he was doing everything he can to get us down to 12.
Yeah.
Friend after game and plug the show.
He
This
had,
isn't on my account, Inked. That
he
I
had
do that on my
cojones.
account.
I like it.
I get no less than maybe 5 requests a week, and I always plug the show. And even if they call me a bunch of names, I quickly put the link of the show in there.
That actually does, like, what you just saw, though, actually is one of the weaknesses of the deck.
2 goals.
If it draws awkwardly, even a basic Hearthstone deck can come within 2 points of beating it.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that is Hunter's weakness.
Yep. So, all right, guys. Any last thoughts before we head out?
I just gave you mine.
Guys, reminder, episode 100's next week. If you have any thoughts or anything you want to share on the show, please send those to us, and we will do our best to include them in the show for our 100th episode next week.
So since there's really just the 7 of you watching right now that I can see, let's go ahead and get some emails for Zeroshio and Avantes. I want to like have a 30-minute email segment of just Zeroshio and Avantes emails.
Nothing but compliments on how great we are.
Talk about. I want you guys to talk about beards and eating them and growing them, and
Lack
it doesn't have to be
thereof.
Hearthstone. Doesn't have to be Hearthstone. Just episode 100, get in there and just rag them.
There you go. All right,
Meme
guys.
Central.
If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Do us a favor, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button below on YouTube, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. And guys, next week, make sure you tune in. We're excited for it. We can't wait to see you guys. Until then, good gaming.
Bye, guys. Have fun.
Adios, muchachos.